What's up, guys, and welcome back to Prepare to Read. My name is Marcos, and I'm here with my good friend Jacob.
Hello. I was gonna do a Mickey Mouse voice, but I
It's not
decided
that
not to.
podcast. That type of podcast.
Yeah, that's our other
um,
podcast.
yeah. Um, Today we're going to be talking about Way of Kings, chapters 50, 51, and then interludes 7 through interlude 9. You have anything you want to say before we get started, Jacob?
Um, no, just that I've been watching a lot of TV lately, and I am now a big ambassador for. Well, actually, I guess I've been watching TV and I've been reading a lot. Been watching Fallout. I watched Andor, and I'm watching Beast Games, and I'm really enjoying Beast Games. I'm an ambassador for that show. Person I see that I can talk to, I'm like, have you watched Beast Games? It's actually really good. Um, and then so if you're listening to this and you like any sort of game show or like American Ninja Warrior, check out Beast Games. It's great. And then I've been reading. I finished Between Two Fires a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. I liked it. Didn't love it. Um, I give it like a 7 out of 10 if I had to rate it. And now I'm reading a nonfiction book. My first nonfiction book probably since school, called Henry V. It's about the life of King Henry, and it's been pretty good. I'm about to finish it. I'm gonna finish it probably in like the next week or two. I've been really enjoying it actually, and I can see a lot of the inspirations on like the fantasy I've read, um, based through like what his life has consisted of so far. So it's been pretty cool. What about you? Reading anything? Watching anything?
Not reading anything per se. I am also going to drop a little I don't know what you would call it, but a little motivation for people to watch the Night of the Seven Kingdoms show. That's what I've been watching. It's in the Game of Thrones world. If you were turned off by Game of Thrones or you didn't like House of the Dragon or the ending of Game of Thrones, I highly encourage you, regardless, to watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's been awesome. Some of my favorite out of any of the shows. So we might do an episode on it. We might not. But if you do want to hear what we have to say and you haven't seen it, I would recommend going to watch it before we talk about it.
All right, I'm ready to dive into this if you are, sir.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. This is a big wrap up to some of the storylines we've been reading about. So, first, we'll start with chapter 50, Backbreaker Powder. And this is the last of Shallan's chapters before getting into the interludes. When we last left her off, we got the whole thing with Shadesmar, her attempting suicide. And this is kind of the fallout now of what happened with her. So Shallan, she wakes up. She's inside of a hospital room because she slit her wrist, right?
No, this is after you're missing, where Capsule came in and
Oh yeah,
gave them the jelly. This is after that, after
yeah.
she was
Skip that part.
poisoned.
Yeah, that's right. So she wakes up again, feeling healthy. And when this happens, she's trying to remember kind of what happened. She's asking the guards, and she's just kind of a little bit confused as to what happened. So what ends up happening is Yasna comes in to see her, and she demands to know who ordered her to steal the Soulcaster. This is where Shallan kind of drops the big bombshell on her that I stole it for myself and for my family to save them from financial ruin.
Yeah, so I'm gonna how do I wanna handle this? There's a line here where Yasna's, like, basically just scolding her for what she did, what Shallan did, and the line goes, "Do you realize what my brother would have done if he learned of this?" And my what's your first immediate thought if like, when she says that?
Mm, I don't know that she would kill him or that he would kill her or something.
Do you really think that he would do that, though? You think Dalinar would do that?
Oh, I'm trying to think of the relationships between this. Dalinar is not Yasna's brother.
Pretty sure.
Brother-in-law,
No.
right?
Definitely brother.
I'm pretty sure she's his brother-in-law.
She
Yeah,
was a
because Yasna was married to, uh oh, Dalinar relative, but it doesn't say what relative. Parents?
okay, well, then who was the brother? Okay, okay, we gotta get this right.
Yeah, we do remember let's see, Kolinar is their last name, right? Family tree. Let's look up the family tree.
Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. I'm mixed up. She is, um, the I guess, the young king's Galinar's son's sister.
Repeat that?
This is so bad. This is so bad. Yasna is
I'm already
king.
bad at remembering some of these books. This is, okay, look. There are Gavilar and Navani had Yasna,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
okay? And then Dalinar is the brother of Gavilar. So,
Yes,
yes.
yeah,
So I was right, yeah.
yeah, so Dalinar's I was wrong in thinking Dalinar was her
Man, I actually
brother.
knew something.
Well, anyways, I guess that makes more sense. I don't know why I was thinking that she was, Dalinar's sister.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mainly say that because up to this point, I don't believe we've really gotten too much of Gavilar, but we've learned a little bit through Shallan studies that Gavilar wasn't really what he was depicted as.
uh,
Um,
well, he was and then he wasn't at the end.
uh-huh.
He
So,
started to become a lot more interested in, like, scholarly pursuit, as I would say it. But yeah, do you
yeah.
realize what my brother would have done if he learned of this? I just don't think, like, he would've what's his name? Alethkar? Elokar? I don't think he would've killed her or anything like that. I really don't, especially if Dalinar was over his shoulder. I feel like it wouldn't have been as crazy of a thing, but I might be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand the societal nature of things or their norms or what their laws and punishments are. But yeah, that's all I gotta say
So
about that.
you're talking about what Alucard would have done, not what Gavilar would have done.
Yeah, because Yasna is Elhokar's brother or
Oh,
sister.
I thought we were talking about what we thought Gavilar would have done.
No,
And that's
because
why I
she
was saying
says, "Do
I
you
feel like
realize?
Gavilar
Do you
would have done
realize?"
something.
No, she says, "Do you realize what my brother would have done?" Not my dad.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think Alucard would have done too much, honestly. Alucard's kind of softy. So
Yeah, or he's like, I don't know. But like I
he
said,
reminds me of like a Tommen.
I
He's
don't know if
very
he's that
kind.
much like that because I think he's ready to be a leader. He's just very scared because he thinks he's gonna get killed. Which actually maybe that might do something because he's so paranoid. He might have just straight up killed her. So actually, you know what? I think Yasuo's right. I rescind my statement. I think she was right about that. I was
If
just
this was Game
confused.
of Thrones, she'd get got.
Mm. Yeah. Um. But no, that's all I have to say on that. As of right now, we do find out that Capsule did poison the
Yeah.
the bread. No, the jam had the antidote. He poisoned the bread. He was trying to kill, Yasna
Mhm.
and was hoping to save, uh, Shallan with the jam, and that's why he was so persistent.
Why do you think he was trying to do that?
To kill Yasna?
Mhm.
Well, we find out later that none of the Ardents, like, really knew him, which is kinda crazy, but also, I guess it makes sense. You have such a big place. At first I was like, "You're telling me nobody questioned, excuse me, this dude going up to Yasna's, like, room all the time because she was always with Shallan?" But I guess, like, in a big organization like that, like, how many times do you walk by people at work and you're like, "Don't even know that guy, but I saw him today," you know? You just don't even think about it, so that makes sense.
And I think they're also at the kinda like the main sept, no? Like one of the big seps, so I would imagine
Yeah,
that
it's huge.
it's not
Um,
like a small little church.
yeah, I don't think everybody knows everybody there. It is probably a lot of people going in and out of there. Um, I think I don't know why he's trying to kill Yasna. but we do get a lot of hints of like secret societies at work here, and we do get a name drop in the one of the interludes about the Ghost Bloods.
Mm.
Oh no, actually, it's not even in the interludes; it's in the next chapter about the Ghost Bloods. Um, so I think it's something related to that. Either there's more people coming for um the Colons, the royal family, and I think I feel like Sanderson's trying to lead me to the route of like these secret societies that we don't really know about because we've been hinted at it with Shallan's family, and now, uh, like I said, the next chapter we get that.
So I have a question for you then. Won't say anything about it, but you mentioned the secret society, right? The Ghost Bloods. What do you think the purpose of a secret society would even be in this world?
Well, in fantasy or fantasy that I've read, secret societies are always trying to bring something back, and it's usually not good. It's usually like the all powerful one who is sealed away, like that. So I feel like that's an easy answer. Um, Political gain is like what I imagine the real world secret societies is what people would think they do. Um, it's one of those two things. That's all I could think of. Anything else would be too out of left field for me to predict it. Let me see. Let me take a little bit more of a deep dive into that.
Mhm. Yeah, I wouldn't say much on it, but
Well, resources seem to be a big thing in this world, and by resources I mean shard blades, were they soul gems, right? That's what they're stealing from, or they're getting out of the Shattered Plains.
Mhm.
Um, so I would imagine I can see getting rid of, I don't know.
'Cause Yasna, she, I would imagine kinda something similar to Dedra from Andor, if you guys have watched that. Kinda like, okay, she digs really deep into stuff,
Well,
and
that's what, so she thinks it's the Ardents. She thought it was the Ardents who sent her. So in her mind, she's thinking the Ardents are willing to kill her because she's questioning their religion. That's what she thinks. I don't think she's right because I feel like it'd be too easy, but it might be. It might, he might be just telling us this is what's happening. But
so why do you think so you think Yasna thinks they tried killing her because what she's doing with the artist?
what she said, let's see, I have it underlined. Who are you working with? Which devotee bribed you to steal the fabrial? Well, she thinks she's working with the devotee. So maybe she doesn't think the Ardents tried to kill her, but she thinks she's working with the church to steal her fabrial.
Mhm, and she's known as, like, a heretic and this and that, so
Yeah. So I could see maybe, yeah, like there is a religious sect out there that could possibly want to either like restrict her power or kill her. I don't think they would kill her. So this feels far more sinister than, or not sinister, but like shadowy than the almighty religion that's present in this world.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to know right now, is definitely the feeling I get. And I'm wondering, I don't know. We'll see. I have more. There's questions, actually, really good questions about this chapter that I will ask later. But I don't know. Is
So,
there?
do you think that because from here, Yasna tells her, like, she's disappointed in her, and she kind of, instead of asking, just tells her, like, "Oh, now I get why you tried to kill yourself," and do you think Yasna it seems like up to right now, she's just kinda taking this story at, like, face value. Like, "Oh, artist tried killing me, and you were sad because you, like, disobeyed me, and that's how come you felt bad, and that's why you wanna kill yourself." Do you think she's being honest, or do you think
Wait. What?
do you think Yasna is reading deeper into the situation, or she's just taking it at face value?
Like she's, wait, like reading deeper into what Shallan's telling her? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think she believes, "Oh, you just felt bad, and that's why you tried to kill yourself?"
mm,
Or you think she's onto her?
well, remember, she didn't try to kill herself right now. This is after the poison.
Yeah.
So I think what she's thinking is she says protecting them does you no good. Eventually you will tell me the truth. So right there she thinks she's not telling the truth. But I think she ends up accepting that, like, yeah, I think she is telling the truth, because she asked her, like, "Well, then why'd you do it? Like, why are you doing this?" And I feel like she wouldn't have, like, gone down that path if she didn't believe that she was telling the truth. Um, but yeah,
Mm.
I don't think she's
Okay.
reading too much into it. I think what she's thinking is, "Wow, you had so much potential and you wasted it." That's what Yasa's really thinking about Shallan right now because she liked Shallan. She was willing to mentor her and train her.
There were some good lines, I don't remember them off the top of my head, but from the end of that chapter about Shallan and how she feels with Yasna leaving her and just
Yeah, she'd lost it all. No Fabrial to protect her family, no warship to continue her studies, no capsule. She'd never actually had him in the first place.
yeah, and that's where we leave Shallan.
So I have a question for you.
Alright.
How will this affect Shallan's worldview slash psyche?
Hmm, I wanna say something.
Don't say it if it's a spoiler.
It's not, but I don't want to steer your thinking. I think this is just gonna reinforce her tendencies already, like, she was willing to lie about stuff,
Well, let me ask you
and
this. Let me rephrase or let me ask you a different question. What do you think Brandon Sanderson or how do you think Brandon Sanderson wants us to feel about Shallan after this chapter? Because I get the big connotation that we're supposed to feel like she did bad. What do you think?
I don't know, I don't feel like he wanted us to feel I feel like I see Shallan's point of view and why she did what she did, but I could also see Yasna's point of view of why she responded the way she does. So, I don't know, I see both points of view. Do I think Shallan did wrong herself? Um, I mean, obviously, like, stealing was wrong, but I feel like she did what she needed to do. But then she failed at it because she let the situation get the best of her, like, she enjoyed what she was doing, and she didn't wanna lose it. Um,
So do you think so
I think she's facing the consequences of what she did. Um, yeah.
all right. Well, we have some questions from chapter 15 that I really liked. Shallan has now betrayed Yasna, returned the Soulcaster, lost her future as a ward, and ruined her family's one possible saving grace. Where do you think her story can realistically go from here? Who do you trust more now? Oh, that's a two-parter, two-parter. So where do I think her story can realistically go from here? Hmm. I think I think we've laid the groundwork for Shallan to go down a little even, or I wouldn't say even more because it's not completely morally gray, but I think she can go down a morally gray path now. I think that's realistically where we're gonna go. I think the question of morality that was brought up by Yasna and her like philosophical teachings really had an impact on her. Like you said, she was already willing to steal and do that stuff to survive in her eyes. So if Yasna, who we can assume is part of the forces of good right now, I think that's a safe assumption, isn't going to help her, then she's gonna have to turn to somebody else. And they're probably not gonna be as kind, or not kind, but like, you know, I guess benevolent as Yasna is. So I think we might see her go down. I don't want to say darker path. I don't think she's gonna become like an evil character or anything like that. But I do think she's gonna get tangled up in stuff that isn't necessarily the right side of things in
I
order
actually
to try
don't
to save her
remember
family.
where she goes from here.
Well, I'm really bummed that she's not in the next chapter because, as
The
everybody
next
knows,
section.
yeah, or the next part, because she is my favorite. And then, okay, here's the next part of the question: who do you trust more now, Yasna or Shallan? Have the last few Shallan chapters changed that for you? I actually don't think I trust either one more than the other. I am surprised Yasna didn't know that she had the Fabrial. I feel like that changed my opinion on Yasna a little more. I really felt like she was almost like someone where you couldn't pull one over, like, she knew this whole time. I really had that, like, perception of her. So her not knowing and then her having the reaction that she didn't make me, like, not like her or anything like that or, like, make me think less of her. I was just surprised. But no, I don't think anything that has transpired, um, altered my thoughts on Shallan. I am just more excited on where her story goes because I think it's great when a story can get me hyped for something like Shallan being trained under Yasna and then take that away, and I'm almost excited to see like, well, maybe this other stuff is actually gonna be cooler, or wow, I don't even know where this is gonna go now. Like I had a vision in my head, and now we're going something different. So
Yeah,
I'm really excited for Shallan's.
I don't trust either. I feel like even though Yasna's trying to shame Shallan for what she did, I think Yasna would do the same. Like, I think both of them are really similar. I think they both are willing to lie for whatever their cause is.
So you don't trust either of them?
No, I wouldn't trust either of them.
Really? Why is
I
that?
don't think Shallan's bad or Yasna, but I do think that they will bend the truth to advance whatever they're trying to accomplish. But what they're trying to accomplish, I don't think either one of them is trying to accomplish bad things. So,
Interesting. So are you saying that maybe because I feel like a lot of people would do that, right? Like I think a lot of our characters would like bend things to suit them.
mhm.
And you think
Them
what
more so than others, I think, though.
you think they would go too far or what?
I think Yasna would. I mean, Yasna literally went and killed people just to show Shallan, like, the teacher or
It's
something.
true.
I don't think Kaladin would have gone to kill people to teach something.
Kaladin went to go fight a war.
Yeah, but I think he felt justified because it's a war.
Well,
You
that's the whole
just
point. Yasna felt justified.
yeah, I guess so.
They were bad people. Okay. Next question. Did you see Capsule Betrayal coming? Ah, my God, I did for like 90% of the time he was in the book. And then like the last chapter, I was like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong
Oh,
about him.
yeah.
And then slap in the face, man. I wanted Capsule to leave everything for Shallan. She needs love too, and he was willing to. I really think him telling her like, "Let's go do it." Like if she would have said yes, I don't think he would have pursued the Yasna stuff at all. I don't think. Like, I really believe that. I really believe that. Like even though he ended up going back, it was only because Shallan went back.
Well,
Um,
coming from the perspective of who I would imagine he's working for, I'm pretty sure he probably was told, "You need to kill both." And I think it was because of how he felt about her that he was like, "No, no, no. Take that into note."
mm,
'Cause why would you want that loose end?
but they don't. Are they concerned with Shallan?
I don't know.
Because if I don't know, I think I wouldn't be concerned with a ward if I was higher up,
Mhm.
unless they know something we don't. That's all I got on that chapter.
Alright.
We'll leave Shallan
Yeah.
forever now.
Leave her to cry for a bit until we come back. Okay, so that wraps up Shallan's story kind of up to this point, at least.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a big bookend right there. That feels like if she didn't like, I really thought she wasn't gonna come back the rest of the book until someone said that she's back in part 5. So like that felt very final of a ending for her story in this book.
yeah. Well, moving on to the next chapter, chapter 51, Sasnan, I think is how you say that. So we're back in the flashback for Kaladin, when he was fighting, um, I don't remember if this war had a name, but he's fighting some battles.
No, it was like a border dispute.
Yeah. And if we remember last time we were with Kaladin, we got that whole scene of him fighting and killing the shard bearer, and then him walking away from the shard blade, just saying like, "I don't want it."
Yep.
And then getting taken in for questioning, I guess. So now where we're picking up Kaladin, he's waiting to speak and meet with Amaram. And he's kind of just reflecting over what happened, that only 4 out of 26 of his men survived, and we know that Kaladin does not handle people dying very well. So that definitely hurt him.
Yeah. To be fair, I
Um,
think that would hurt anybody if
Yeah, I
they
guess
saw
so.
people slaughtered like that.
Yeah, that's true. And Kaladin even knows, what he did was dumb. Even it's like, I should never have used that. That was probably stupid. But like we've seen with Kaladin stays true to what he believes, you know? Like,
We
even
can
if
get
it
into this at the end because we have a question for it, and I will share my thoughts loudly when we get to that part, but we'll save that for the end.
I do like the contrast, though, in the characters of, like, Shallan to Kaladin and what they're willing or not willing to do. Um, anyways, we'll probably talk about that right now. So, from at this point, MRM enters. They're discussing the, shard bearer, the identity and the motives of who had it, the
And
shard
he
blade.
said, so let me read this real quick. Why? So this is picking up like you don't hear the first part of this conversation. Why Thadakar would risk this? Question mark. Amaram was saying, speaking in a soft voice, but who else would it be? The ghost bloods grow more bold. We'll need to find out who he was. Do you know anything about him? He was Veden, Bright Lord. And I said it last episode, Veden keeps coming up and up and up and up. S- Something shady's going down there. There's something significant about this place. I don't think we'll find out in this book, but I truly believe in the next book because it's been brought up so much in this one at the end, then that's gonna come up. There's it's been brought up way too many times all of a sudden for it to just like, oh yeah, it's just coincidence that everybody's coming from there or all these things are happening there. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Okay.
Also, so it appears so we have this whole thing going on in the Shattered Plains, and Amaram sounds like he's hip to the game about some other stuff that we haven't heard anything about from Dalinar. Anybody, Yasna hasn't brought this up. So it's like, what does he know and why does he know it and nobody else does?
Mhm.
I don't know. That's just very interesting to me.
Yeah.
You may
Well,
continue.
at this point, Amram starts questioning Kaladin and is just kinda like, "Why did you do this? Like, why would you try taking on a shard bearer? And also, why would you reject taking the shard blade?" Kaladin, the would the word be racist? His disdain of light eyes, he doesn't wanna tell him, like, "I don't wanna be one of you guys, I don't wanna be like you." Um, he just says, like, "Oh, I don't know." So at that point, Amram's like, "Okay." So he signals and the soldiers kill the last 4 spearmen, while some guards hold back Kaladin. And Amaram, he doesn't look happy to be doing this, he looks guilty, but he says that he's justified in his actions, that he's trained in how to use the shard blade, um, and that, yeah, that this is why he deserves it and why it wouldn't make sense for somebody like Kaladin or another one of his men to have gotten it.
Yeah. And
But
he says that he has to kill them because nobody would believe that they just handed it to him willingly.
yeah, so some cool political undertones here. Um, so because Kaladin saved his life though, Amram says, "Okay, well, I'll spare your life, just to be kind to you for what you did." And he says that, he's gonna say that Amaram himself killed the Shardbearer and that Kaladin fled and left and brands him a slave. And that kind of closes off the background of Kaladin before we meet with him in the beginning of the book.
Yeah. And I think I want two things here. I want to commend I don't even know if he needs commending because everybody loves him, but the way I knew exactly how this was gonna go down, and not in like a, "Oh, I predicted this," but the way Sanderson has written Kaladin's backstory and story that we're hearing now to where before this chapter even happened, I could have told you what was like this chapter existed exactly this way. I think it's just like testament to good storytelling. And yeah, I mean, come on, like Khaled there's sometimes where I think like Khaled, I'm like, what's your problem, dude? Like, you did not think that that was gonna happen. I don't know. I know he trusted Amaranth for some reason, but it
He
just
thought he was different, but he wasn't like the other
I
Light Eye.
guess, I guess. All right, but now I'll get to this. All right. So what do you think? I'm gonna ask you a rhetorical question. Don't answer because then I'm gonna answer it. If Kaladin, right now, present day Kaladin in the Shattered Plains, stuck his hand out and counted to 10, what would happen? Because I think he would summon a shard blade. Because
So you think he's the true owner of the shard
I
blade?
don't think the shard blade recognizes what happened there. It doesn't believe in these political, like, that's not how it operates. It operates on its own terms. They didn't kill him. He killed him. He has that shard blade. That's his shard blade. I think if he were to stick his hand out and summon it, it would come. I
Mhm.
believe that 100%. I would bet $1,000 on that right now that that happens. Or not that that happens, but that's how it works. I just
Mhm.
like, you know, I even have it wrote here. Will the sword recognize this? And I don't think so. I think the sword is probably some
'Cause we
almost
haven't
like
seen remind me maybe because 'cause it's been a few weeks since I read it. We don't see the passing around of the shard blade, right? It's not like, "Oh, Amram's holding the shard blade right now."
someone has it here, I think. Like it gets brought up right now. But like there's been like no relinquishing. But even then, like I don't think the shard blade cares if you say, "Oh, Corb can have this." No. Like I don't think it works that way. Like you can't like I think it's almost like an honor thing where you must be bested in battle for the shard blade to be
Like the Elder
relinquished.
Wand.
Yeah, like it's very much like the wands in Harry Potter. Um so yeah, I think if Kaladin stuck his hand out, he would get some mist on his fingers and a sword in his hand. Um yeah, I almost don't even feel like I'm making a crazy guess right now with that because like we have learned the rules of the shard blade. We've seen that Shallan has one. And why? Because I am assuming she killed her father. So if she still has it, I'm pretty sure Kaladin still has it. And technically then that shard plate is his too, I guess. So that's also how that works, I think. Or was that a political thing of hey, you get the shard plate also? I don't really know. We don't know too much about shard plate yet. Or if there's a difference between the blades. Um, but yeah, that's what I think. And then, so let's go to the questions. Unless you got something else to add on to that.
I was just gonna say I really like the chapter just because I think it adds a layer to Sanderson's story of like, okay, people will die. Um, it we see the consequence of something. Of like, hey, Kaladin didn't take that sharp blade. Well, there was consequences for that. And I like that. So
Mhm. Yeah. I think
and
they
it
would have
also
tried to
shows the
kill him
politics
anyways.
of these light eyes, like, it's all about politics. They're gonna do what they need to do to advance their agendas.
Yeah, I like this chapter. I also think there are aspects of this chapter I don't love. But first the questions, because I believe someone asked exactly or something that will spark that conversation. We get confirmation of exactly what happened to Kaladin after losing most of his squad to the Shardbearer. Did this recontextualize Kaladin's bitterness toward Light Eyes for you, or did you already expect something like this? Like I said, I don't think I would have called it like early on in the chapters because we do have that big gap, and I was like, "What happened? I know this is gonna be important." And then I don't think it was until we see that he killed, um, the Shard Bearer that I realized, okay, like they're gonna kill all of his squad, and then like he's in like that's how he ends up where he is. Um, recontextualize his hatred. I think like I don't know if it recontextualizes his hatred of them, but we see like the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, because his whole part with like the way the guy was it Rashon was treating his family and like what he did with his like um young crush that he had or his childhood crush that he had. That I think would have already been enough for someone to like I get it, you know. This I think was more of almost broke his spirit in a way.
Well, because
Uh,
this was I think they write it a couple times where he's pretty much saying like, "Hey, I don't like these light eyes, but this guy's different."
yeah,
Like, it
yeah,
was like his last hope.
yeah. That's why I feel like it's like I don't know, like it recontextualizes, I guess, my view, or I just understand more of like how broken he became because of the situation. Not necessarily, oh, I understand why he hates them more, if that makes sense as for an answer. And then Follow-up to that. Amaram looks guilty but proceeds with the slaughter of the squad. Anyway, what do you think this says about Amaram? I think 2 things. 1, Amaram's in some deep shit somewhere because he's talking about these ghost floods that we haven't heard at all. We haven't heard Dalinar talk about them. We haven't heard them brought up in, like, any of the royal happenings that we've been through, like, Dalinar's POV. So, I think he thinks, "Hey, this shard blade is probably gonna protect me," and the shard plate and whatever is going on here, for him. And then 2, I don't think he enjoys it as far as, like, if he didn't feel like he didn't have to, he wouldn't do that, but he feels like he has to anyway. So it's almost like I almost think of him as, like, tells me that he's weak because he knows that it's wrong and he's still doing it anyways. Like, it's almost worse in a way to, like, know that you're doing wrong and go forward with it instead of, like, just truly believing that you're doing right. You know what I mean? It almost makes it like he's even worse of a person in my eyes. What do you think about that question, Marcus? I feel like you can answer that without spoilers. That he
Repeat?
looks guilty, but does it anyways.
Um, I like it because I think it adds a layer to him as a character instead of just, like, good or bad. It adds a little grayness 'cause it's like, okay, he looks guilty, maybe if the circumstances were different, he wouldn't have done it. Um, it makes him less trustworthy for sure because
Yeah.
we can't really put our finger on how he will or will not handle a certain situation. So,
Yeah, I don't even think it makes him morally gray. I think it shows you, oh, he's just like everybody else. He's just a little more polite.
yeah,
And I think,
he's playing the Game of Thrones.
well, he's not doing pretty good because he had a border dispute and
Yeah,
not the
that is
Shattered
true.
Plains.
He ain't that important, I guess. Oh,
Um,
but he is talking about some
yeah,
stuff.
he knows some stuff. He's definitely involved in some shady stuff. Um, And then another question that we get, which I think actually kind of ties in with what we're talking about. Given this betrayal of Amaram, do you think Amaram? How do you say it again?
Amaranth?
Amaram. Do we think he really tried to keep Tien safe like he promised when he was drafted? I think that's a great question because I think you kind of assume because Kaladin's so sure about it that he did. And I don't really think he did. I don't think he like cared that much. I think it was more of like a that situation where Tien got drafted was heated, so he's kinda like, "Hey, let me de-escalate this now." And once he got out of that situation, he's like, "Okay, I honestly don't care." But
Yeah,
I think
he
he
wanted
had
to
to,
look good for the small folk.
yeah, and I think he had to uphold it maybe a little bit more because Kaladin was around. So, like, maybe he did, but out of fear of Kaladin, doing something if he didn't or causing problems. So I might actually change my answer to I think he did, but not out of good intentions, more out of placating Kaladin and his family and the small folk, like Marco said. His words, not mine. Um, okay, and then he goes on to say, I am fine with Kaladin's depression, but these sorts of decisions are so frustrating to me. Why not accept the shards and decide to use them for good, or sell them, or anything but what he did? And I agree. Like I cannot wrap my head around Kaladin not taking the shards. It feels so, I don't want to say, like, obviously Brandon knows his characters more than I do, but it just feels so wrong because he's still, I have it underlined here. He's like, he would have been able to go to the Shattered Plains and fight in a real war. So he still like supports the war and is willing to go fight for these people, but he won't pick up a shard blade for them or against, like, like, okay, you'll go fight their wars for people you hate. You still want to do that, but you won't pick up the shard blade. Like that just, to me, that doesn't make sense. That takes a hit for me. It really does because I just can't understand that. Like, does he, the only explanation I can get for this is he truly believes in the conquest that's going over there, that, hey, they tried to kill the king, and for some reason, he feels like they deserve to get, you know, for this war to happen to them. But, like, it just doesn't make sense. "Oh, I'm not gonna have the shard blade." but I'll still go fight for you." Like, what? That just like, 'cause the shard blade would allow him not to fight for them and at least run his own squad, at least if I understand the, like, hierarchy of what would happen if he got it or not. So I don't know. I like I'm with you. I struggle with that a lot. I actually dislike it. I will say I don't love that decision. Um, and then he ends with, for another question, or do you think Amaram would have let him take it? No, I think he would have tried to kill Kaladin too, but it would have been a lot harder. He would have done it in his sleep because Kaladin would have had the shard blade on him, I think. And there he already killed someone without a shard blade. So I think it would have been a little I think it would have gone down differently, but it still would have tried to kill Kaladin.
Yeah, I think it's dumb too. I yeah, I mean, I think it's dumb. I don't get necessarily why I would have done it, but I think it adds a pillar to his character of like he will uphold whatever his code is,
But
even if it
that
doesn't make sense.
but that's still
He
like
does not think
what
through it.
code? What code is it? Because he doesn't like the light eyes, but he's willing to go fight
But there's
the
more to
wars for
the
them.
to be careful what words I use here, but I think he believes in fighting the enemy they're fighting, but that
The
doesn't necessarily
Parshendi?
mean yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean he cares about them themselves.
But, like,
Like,
then
he's not fighting for them, he's fighting because he wants to fight the Bruschetti.
but then to me, then
I
getting
don't
the
remember
sword
entirely, though.
even furthers that because he would be at the same level as the light eyes and could technically have, like, his own I'm guessing he could have his own unit out there. So he could still go fight there if he believed in that fight, but on his
So it'd
own
almost make
terms.
more sense to be like a mercenary on his
I
behalf. If he's like, "I don't care about these light eyes, but I care about fighting for the war,"
Well, but if he picked up the shard blade, he becomes, like, the same rank as a light eyes. No, not
which
like a
is what he
super high
doesn't
one.
want.
But if he still wants to go fight in the like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it'd be like, I just don't understand. I don't wanna be like them, but I'll go fight your wars under you." That to me, that's just weird. That feels like such a in conflict
Yeah,
with
I don't know.
beliefs.
I'd have to think through that, but I think not picking up the sharp blade is simply because he doesn't wanna feel like he's one of them. That's it.
Yeah, and I
Fighting
mean
for them in the war, I think that's a whole other thing, but the shard blade itself, I think it's because he's like, "I can't have that because then I'll be like them, and I'm not."
yeah, I don't know. It just feels like I I hope I read something later that makes this a little bit more understandable to me, but right now it is like, I don't know what he stands for.
I didn't think about it. We might have it's because we've been reading this over, like, what, 2 years now?
2
So,
years.
who knows if there was we might be forgetting some of the context of why Kaladin wanted to fight.
Well, he didn't even
He just
wanna
wanted
be
to
a
be a
soldier.
soldier.
Yeah, he didn't wanna be a soldier, or he kinda did, and then he decided not to, and then Tien got, um,
No, he always
drafted.
wanted to be a soldier, but then he ended up not. He ended up accepting to be a surgeon.
Yes, but then because he got drafted, I think he just, leaned into it, became a good soldier, and, like, when we pick up the book, he is trying to go over to the Shattered Plains. He wants his squad to get selected to go there. Um, but then he still wants that even after he kills the Shard.
And you're saying if he hates these people so much, why is he serving under them?
I'm saying if taking the Shard Blade would allow him to not be under him and lead his own fight in the Shattered Plains, why
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
he do
I
that?
think Kaladin, the way he sees it is, "Hey, I want to take my squad and I wanna go to the Shattered Plains, but if the way I get there is by accepting that blade, then I'm not gonna do that."
And then he'll still fight their wars for them. That just doesn't make sense to me. That
Well,
just
that's a
seems
different
so
thing. I think
contradictory.
choosing a fight is the wars. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but
Because then he also enlists again. He re-enlists. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't think it was. I didn't feel
I
like it
don't
was
remember.
a good
Let me see.
decision.
Let's see if I can remember. I'm trying to look it up. I'm sure somebody in our comments or Discord will probably be able to help us with this part.
Well, actually, I think it is a good discussion. Like, I need help. I need help wrapping my head around that. Like, I know you say that the him fighting the wars and then not doing the shard blade is like different, but I don't feel that way. So if you're listening on YouTube or wherever, like, let me know what you think. Do you think that that decision is that a good decision? Does that make sense to you? Because it does it to me.
So
Borderline bothers me.
there's one thing I can't talk about why right now, but basically, from what ChatGPT is saying, is this just part of his identity he protects. He protects those who cannot protect themselves. And it's not about light eyes, it's about who he chooses to be. He fights for his men, for the innocent, for what he considers right, and for the kind of person he wants to become. So
Yeah,
that's why he
that
wants to fight the war, to protect these people, the people of his land.
I don't know. I don't know. That just I need something more. I hope there's pages in this book that make me feel better about that choice. But I don't think
Mhm.
there is because I think that truly does frustrate me. That is a frustrating decision. It is one of those ones where it's like it is borderline
It
like
is
in a haunted
interesting that
house and you run into the wrong like, oh, we heard the noise over there and you run into that and you're like, why are you doing that? That
I
just why are
I
you
think
doing
it's an
that?
interesting character to have though, because like it reminds me of like a Ned Stark or somebody like that, where it's like you know they're gonna make a stupid decision because of what they stand for, and you know it's gonna turn out terribly for them, but they do it anyways. And it's like, well, why did you do that? Why did you do that?
But I think it's not that it's a stupid decision, it's that it contradicts other stuff he's done. I think that's what really bothers me. Like, if
I
I
don't know
know
if it does. I don't remember because of how far apart we've been reading this. It might not contradict.
I feel like it does. If he's willing to go fight their war, but then not
Yeah,
pick up
but
the
he's
sword.
not fighting the war for them. He's fighting the war for his people. He has to fight for them to
See,
fight for his
but then
people.
if he
Oh,
doesn't
but
think he's
he's not even fighting on the Shattered Plains yet.
no,
He's
he's
not,
fighting border disputes against other Alethkar people.
which he doesn't want to do, but he has to do in order to get to the Shattered Plains.
Yeah, so he's willing like, it this that's what I'm saying, where it starts to feel like it crumbles. I don't understand that decision. I don't. And like I said, maybe there's stuff in the future chapters or even the future books where I look back on it and I'm like, "Okay, I guess I can understand," but
Hmm.
I don't know. It just felt like such a bad choice.
Mhm.
But we can talk about that for hours probably. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, so that wraps up Kaladin's story up to this point. I feel like we get a chapter to wrap up Shallan and a chapter for Kaladin, and these almost feel like you said, like it could be the end of the book right here.
Well,
It's just
that
where we leave the characters.
I wouldn't agree that with Kaladin because we caught up to his where we find him in the present day at the start of the story. Like we still have all his stuff that's going on with
Hmm.
training and
Yeah, that's
trying to
fair.
escape. Like if it ended there, I think no, you can't end it there. Shallan's can end there. You can't end Kaladin's story there. But it does. We have gone full circle. We have met up to where he started the book at, and we like. I do think I I think like maybe it's the way we've read this book, and I think it's like 50% or maybe 60% that way, and then some of the way it's been paced, like Kaladin's flashbacks and present story. Like I don't think it always worked for me, but in the end, like since we've gone full circle, I did enjoy the way he split up the story overall.
Well, now we're gonna take a little break and read the interludes. Um,
Yes.
so the first interlude, interlude 7, is called Baxel. So in this interlude, Baxel and his cousin Ave, not sure how
Yeah.
to read that
Close
one.
enough. I don't even know if they're cousins.
Yeah. But they're walking through this palace, and his cousin, starts to destroy a bunch of art, just slashing the paintings and pounding a bunch of sculptures and just
Is it
breaking them.
cousin? Because it says mistress here.
What I'm looking at says cousin, but maybe wrong.
I don't know.
I don't think this is that type of story where his cousin is his mistress,
Well, I think mistress also means like you serve them.
which makes sense. Yeah. Um, so during this time, well, Abe is just destroying everything. Baxel and Abe are going on talking about something called the Night Watcher. Anything you think about that?
Hold on.
So, well, they talk about it. They
Wait,
talk
hold on. No,
about
hold on. I am getting my place. Yeah, I think your thing might be a little messed up because Ave isn't destroying anything. His mistress is, and Ave and Baxel are like the little gremlins behind them. His little hirelings, her little hirelings. Yeah, the mistress walked ahead of them, the only other person in the hallway. She wasn't Emily. She didn't even seem Makabaki, though she had dark skin and long, beautiful black hair. She had eyes like a shin, but she was tall and lean, like an Alethi. Abe thought she was a mixed breed, or so he said when they dared to talk about such things. The mistress had good ears, strangely good ears, which I underlined because that definitely means something. Yeah, sorry, I was getting turned around because I was like, I think your thing
mm,
might be a little off.
yeah, well, anyways, they start talking about the Night Watcher and boons and curses and what happens to you. And Baxel, unless this is wrong, he starts going on about getting some courage to use the old magic, which I think is a new thing. I
Yeah,
don't remember,
it's the first time we see the old magic, and he's wanting to go visit. Um,
like a
where did
witch,
he say?
basically.
Well, no, he calls a certain place, like the valley. Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
I really like the
Um,
introduction of the old magic though, because it reminds me a lot of kind of the way Game of Thrones handles magic, where it's like magic is not a good thing. You use magic and bad things happen. Like there's always a price for
yeah,
using it.
I like when we get this more folk magic type of vibe in any fantasy story where it is like ritualistic or like a give and a take. And it does seem I don't know, it's really interesting. I think that's also the first time we hear of the Night Watcher, I think. I tried to look back, but I this is the only time where I feel like I would like to have a digital copy where I could type in a word and, like, see where else it got brought up. Because then I have to just kinda go on my own memory of, "I think I heard it here, I think I heard it there." But no, this is very interesting. I mean, obviously, it's gonna come up again, and it's, like, real because I think a lot of times when you do get this old magic stuff or, you know, lack of a better term, it's always like, "Is it real? Is it not?" And then this guy's like, "Yeah, my cousin's been there, my dad's been there, my mom's been there," Like, it's not like a up for debate thing.
So do you think we have seen any of this old magic? What do you think are any connections to the old magic?
Um, well, my only thing that I see that I can think of old magic is, Sun Sun, where I don't know what his blessing would be, but his curse is whoever holds that rock he has to listen to. That's, like, the only thing I could think of. Or
I
that's
thought
the
that was
first
a
thing.
cultural thing though.
Is it though? I don't know. I don't They didn't really tell us. He just always says I have to listen to this rock holder. Um, but I'm sure we have seen something. So we also see I don't know if it's old magic, but each of our main characters has had like abilities that are capitalized. Like Dalinar's like thrill is capitalized. We have Shallan's memory is capitalized whenever it comes up. So those felt like a different thing, and in my head, I was calling them like old magic, but this feels like different because I don't know if like they didn't make a deal with anybody, never talked about that. Um, but off the top of my head, I think of Seth, it being, hey, you're granted the power to like surge bind and all his magical abilities, but you have to serve whoever has this stone. But you're right, it might be a culture thing. I remember his culture getting brought up, but I don't remember if it's explicitly said that, oh, because he did X, Y, or Z, now his culture says that he has to do this. But I might be wrong. Um, but I'm pretty sure we've seen other people with old magic stuff.
I
I
like the
just
old
didn't
magic though.
notice.
It sounds cool.
It does. And um Yeah, it seems like or there's a very interesting line where he says, um, "It doesn't work that way. It's not a game, no matter how the stories try to put it. The Night Watcher doesn't trick you or twist your words," which again I feel like is contradictory to a lot of this like old god stuff where it's like, "Oh, they're clever, like they're gonna use your words against you," like contractually they're gonna screw you over. But he goes, "You ask a boon, she gives you what she feels like you deserve, then gives you a curse to go along with it. Sometimes related, sometimes not." So it's like, I don't know, just like it feels very godlike, like ask and you may receive, but it might not be what you're asking for. And she's not trying to trick you. It's just like, yeah, ask me a favor, I'll grant you something, but it's gonna
There's
be
a
to my
price for it.
liking.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like this person's like just wants to watch the fun of what can come of this.
Mm.
But yeah, interesting stuff. Good section.
Yeah. Um, cool. Well, I don't have anything else on that one. Do you?
We got some questions here. Um, Baxel's mistress is destroying rather than stealing art. Do you think she has a purpose for this, or is it just insanity, whim, or something else? Um, I think she's destroying art to hurt somebody. So like,
Or send a
y-
message.
either send a message or hey, these are of extremely high value. Because you've heard the whole thing of like how rich people use art to store money. Like they don't really care about the art, but this holds its value better than keeping it around cash or whatever. So I'm gonna put into this. So like this might be hurting some investments of some rich people in a way. So I think it's definitely intentional. Next question. Baxel believes he can outsmart the Night Watcher. Ava insists that everyone gets a curve. If the Night Watcher is real, who do you think is correct, Baxel or Ave?
Okay. So really quick,
Hmm.
we need to look at this wording more carefully because from what I'm seeing now, there's Baxel, there's his cousin Ave, and there's their mistress.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Um, I think Ave's more correct, mostly just because I like what his answer says. So I'm gonna go with that. I really took it at face value. I didn't even think about like I literally just said I thought that like, hey, we get told that it's real. Um, and now you're throwing me with a if the Night Watcher is real. Who do you think is correct? I think it's real because it's a fantasy story and it was brought up. And every time in a fantasy story where they're like, there haven't been dragons in ages, guess what? There's gonna be dragons. You know what I mean? So I think it's real. Do I think Abe's completely correct? No. But I think he might be right about the, hey, you get something, but you pay a price. I feel like that overall gist is gonna be right. And we have a fun one here. The Night Watcher seems to give a boon upon request and then a bane. What would you ask for? Oof. I think it depends. If I knew about Surge Binding, I would probably ask to be a Surge Binder. What about you?
In the context of the world,
Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
for a shard blade.
A Shard Blade. Think
Yeah.
it could grant it though? Because it can't
Ooh,
make
I don't
one.
know. That's a deeper question. That's a good lore question there.
Yeah, what's made is made.
And then also just because I have it doesn't mean I can fight with it, huh?
I mean, you would still be pretty. Just that thing's like a nuke.
Yeah,
You
you just
launch a
go poke
nuke.
people.
You don't know how to build one. Yeah, that's all I got on
Um,
this one. I think yeah, that's all I got. This next one is a lot. This one's
yeah.
very
I feel
interesting.
like you would like this one. When I was reading it, I was like, "Oh, this that's stuff Jacob likes." The
Yes.
Spren research.
Yes. We're
So
back
we
to
have Jaranid and Ashir, and they're two Ardents who are doing research. They're researching Spren, and Ashir likes to use cooking to experiment with his chemistry. Um, and yeah, they're doing some experiments right here. and pretty much what they're doing, correct me if I say it's wrong, Jacob, but Ashir tells Jeremy to go into another room, and then he's calling out 3 different numbers. One of them that corresponds, to the true measurement, and he pretty much tells Garanid, who's in the other room, to only write down one of the 3 numbers. And then whenever the number is called out for the actual measurement, they're trying to observe what the spren is doing. So is the spren going to lock in place, or is it going to just continue doing its thing? And through doing this experiment, they pretty much figure out that it seems like the spren locks in place whenever it knows that it's being observed.
Yeah, it's
Um,
almost like, I'm gonna butcher the name, Schrodinger's box or whatever it is, where it's like once observed, then you know it's true. Not exactly, but it gave me that vibe. Um,
yeah, with Schrodinger's cat, you put a cat in a box with some poison, you close off the box, and pretty much you don't know if the cat is dead, or if it's alive. It's in this state of 2 states, right? Until you open the box, then you're able to confirm what state it's in.
yeah, and we do get a little bit of rules, and I won't go through everything, but, um, one of the important ones is it has to be something that's realistic. Like the spren, if it looks like it's not bigger than a foot, you can't say, "Oh, the spren's 6 feet wide." It's not gonna do that. But if you say, "Oh, the spren's, I don't know, 8 inches wide," then it will confirm and lock into that, observation. So, I I'm thinking a bunch of things here, right? I love this chapter. I love spren. It's the secret of this world, I promise you. 10 books later, when it's all said and done and he's finished with the series, you can point back to me and say, Jacob was right. Spren were the secret to the series and why everything's happening. Um, let's see. Okay, so that. And then so I finished this, we get a bunch of physical measurements and stuff like that. And then I wonder, when does this stop? Is it at physical measurements? Or do characteristics like personality also get assigned?
So if you're observing a specific characteristic, it locks into place.
Well, like, so we know that Spren research has been done, and they say I'm gonna use Winspren because of Sill. They say, oh, they're always whimsical. Are they now whimsical because someone observed that about them, and like that has been taught and assigned to them, and they're only whimsical because we've made that distinction about them. You know what I mean?
I think it's an initial characteristic. Like the spren has to have a certain um characteristic about it that locks it into place.
So you're saying that it's not going to translate into, like, personality characteristics.
Oh, no, I think it can, but from what I thought you were saying is that like a spren doesn't have a certain characteristic until it's assigned a characteristic. And I'm
No,
saying, no, the spren has that characteristic.
no, well, so to my or not to my understanding, but they say with the physical size is that it's constantly changing. It's constantly fluctuating. So I'm saying, okay, does its personality also change? And because someone saw one time, "Oh, well, that Wind's friend's being whimsical. We're gonna write that down. That's the truth now." And then boom, because it's so widely accepted, Wind's friend
I
are
think each
now
spren would
whimsical.
have kind of think kind of like an electron cloud. Like you don't know exactly where it is, but you have like a field where it could be. And there's kind of parameters to what that field looks like. So I think each spren, depending on what it is, like it may be fluctuating, but it has balance to what it can fluctuate as.
Yeah.
Um,
So what do you think? Do you think this has happened to Syl? Do you think that the way Kaladin, because it has to be written down, but I'm also wondering if like is it that it's written down or is that it is accepted of this brand? Because I'm
well,
like
it's
this.
weird that the spren, I guess you could say, like how cognitive in a way the spren are, because at least from my understanding, the 3 numbers have nothing to do with the state of this friend. It's just they're assigning these numbers to a certain state, and somehow this friend knows when that number is referring to that state. So,
Yeah, but like, once he writes it down and again, it has to be something that's, like it has to make sense. Like, it can't be a 5-foot wide spread. So, he writes down 3 or he says 3 random numbers, writes down 1, and then this Bren has taken that characteristic. So what I'm saying again is like, I don't know. I'm wondering where this stops. Like, is it only physical dimensions that it does this, or is there other characteristics that are being assigned that we
I
don't know
think it
about?
can be other characteristics.
I think so too. But that's really all we get. Very fun chapter, short. It almost felt like a short story in a way. It was very enjoyable to read.
Yeah,
Um,
takes me back to school. This has a lot in common with, like, quantum mechanics.
okay. I'm gonna go back to questions here. If Spren change their behavior when observed, what sort of implications does that have on the Spren that we've met in the story so far? For Rashar itself, changes everything. It literally changes everything. And again, like I'm already thinking of like, okay, has Syl stayed the way that Kaladin met her in the cage because he made a conscious decision to
Oh, well,
assign characteristics to her?
think about this. Oh, I'm pretty sure this happened.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
Never mind, I can't say it. Gosh darn it. I don't remember if this has happened in the story yet.
Well, yeah. Don't risk it. Um, but yeah, like if characteristics, like did he assign characteristics in his head to Syl and they've shifted? Um,
Ooh, I have something pretty big about that, but I can't talk about it right
and then we get that one other interlude with the guy researching Spren, and he's looking for that big like water Spren that jumps into the water and stuff like that. Like again, does it stay that way because so many people have like, hey, this is the Spren that we see. It looks like this, looks like that, so that so many people have accepted it. It'll forever stay that way until like people stop like I guess not believing in that myth, but learning that legend. Will it change? And like again, do these things only look that way because we've assigned those characteristics to them? It's very interesting. It changes everything. Let's see if we got another question for this one. Oh, yes. Interlude 8. I love this reference to the famous slit experiment. Would you want to be a magic user in this world or a spren scientist? Oh, um, I think I would love to be a magic user. I would end up a spren scientist. I think I would luck out with magical abilities. I think that's just my
Based on
luck.
what I am in real life, it would be a spirit scientist, but
Yeah.
I would like to do science on the magic, though, which,
And
like
the
you're saying, Jacob, is you feel like it's the Spren are that.
yeah, yeah. In reality, we would be the lowest non ever, so we wouldn't we'd be working the farms.
Yeah, we ain't no light
That's
eyes.
really what we'd be doing probably. But no, that yes, good reference to the famous slit experiment. I like that too. Okay. Final interlude. Your boy.
Ooh, Zeth.
Talk about an anime fight.
Um, they were telling us to remember that the AI captions made it Zeth Zeth of Cinnabon or something like that instead
That's
of
that the
Shinovar.
Cinnabon.
They didn't know what Shinovar was, said Zeth son of Cinnabon.
Yeah, right next to the Slotskis.
Yeah. So, now we're with Jacob's favorite, Zeth. Um,
Truth
yeah, I mean,
is,
we get a fight scene. Zeth, he crashes through a door, starts killing guards, enters his banquet, and just goes ham on everybody.
yeah,
Um,
kills 2 shard blades.
yeah, I mean, Zeth knows how to fight. They've established that, like, I wouldn't wanna fight Zeth.
See, what's interesting with Zeph is that so, like, you hear this a lot. I don't know if you ever watch, like, I don't know, military YouTube videos, let's call it, with, like, interviews and stuff like that, and, I guess during, like, after 9/11 when the US went to the Middle East, they were saying they had a lot of untrained, men because we hadn't
Green
seen
men.
yes, we hadn't seen war like that in a while, and I think Seth fights like he has been in, like, holy wars before, that, like, nobody else is fighting like this in this world. So I'm like,
Yeah,
where
he's on a different field.
yes, where even other shard players, where has this guy been? Like, he feels like he was pulled out of time and brought here. Like, we don't hear about this anywhere, and we have started to expand our, like, world or our knowledge of this world, and we have yet to find someone who fights like him. So where did he get this? Is just my big question about that. It's so even if he went like, Dalinar would probably get not wrecked by him, but I don't think Dalinar would win, and the only
Yeah,
one
as of right now, I think Zeth is the best fighter.
yeah, the
Like
only one
he
that could give him a run for his money is Kaladin, but because we know Kaladin has, like, some sort of,
but
like,
Actually, I
luck
disagree.
thing,
Kaladin doesn't know how to fight with Shardblade.
but he
Dalinar
has
knows way more about fighting with a Shardblade.
but he has well, first of all, he killed a Shardblade user without a Shardblade, which is already crazy,
That
but
is good.
my point is that Kaladin has, like, this weird, like, luck around him that I think has been, like
A lot
it's
of
pretty much we've been confirmed that, like, he has something going on with him. Um,
and hasn't it also been referenced that shard bearers, some of them tend to be undertrained
well,
because
I
they
yeah, it's
just
like a
know
handicap.
nobody. Yeah, like nobody can fight me, so I don't really need to know how to fight.
But this guy, I think
He
these
knows
people
how to
were a
fight.
little bit more serious that he fought these past 2 people or like, one of the 2 people. But even, like, Dalinar, I think even though Dalinar knows how to fight, I think Seth would still kill him. But it's just weird, like, if if he went to Dalinar, they would think that he was, like, a freak because of how he fights. Nobody's doing it. And
Or
he's, like
Dalinar.
and he's trained in it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I
it's
feel
not
like at this point, Zeth is like probably all the big leaders of the world's like worst nightmare.
it's just it's so interesting to me,
He's an
like
unstoppable force.
where did he like, he must have been in wars before doing stuff like this.
Yeah. I mean, I have a question actually kind of after this. I don't have too much on this one really. I mean, I think we just get that whoever Zeth's working for, he's taking out powerful people.
Yeah,
And
because
Zeth,
he
he's
went
going
after
around.
the king of Jakaved,
Yeah.
the king. So
Yeah.
he's talk about King Kill Chronicles, man.
Yeah.
We
And Zeth,
actually
I mean, he knows how to fight. He cries while he does it. He doesn't like doing what he's doing,
the
but
only
he's
thing that this chapter was missing was the king of Jakaved going, "Oh, he's so fast. How is he doing this?"
well that okay, that connects to what I wanted to talk about is I think this one I don't really have too much, but I do want to talk about overall this is any of you guys who are listening, if you didn't hear, Brandon Sanderson's stuff is gonna start getting adapted. Um yeah, the rights were acquired by Apple TV. I think as of right now they've only made mentions of Mistborn and Stormlight. Um, but it gets me thinking of how are they gonna do this? Like,
It's gonna have
how
to
would
be
Zeth
animated.
look? Because they describe Zeth as like a little baby. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to see a little baby looking dude going and killing like I don't know.
He's not a baby. He just has I think it's
He's short.
no hair.
He's short though.
Is he?
So
He's not
I could audition.
he's he's not yeah, you have too much hair. They're like smooth.
Smooth
Oh,
heads.
yeah. I think you just gotta lean into it. It has to be animated, right? Like it
I
can't
would
be.
rather Stormlight be animated. I think I would. But also that would be completely new for Apple TV. I don't think they've done an animation.
Yeah, but anime is such a big whether it's like anime or not, it is such a big it draws such a crowd now. I don't think that's like a barrier to doing well. Or Apple considering doing it that way.
Yeah.
I just I can't visualize this in a live action and it
So,
be good.
did you read Mistborn?
No. I read
You
like the
hadn't
first
read any?
chapter.
Oh, okay. I think I'm trying to think what I believe would be easier to adapt first?
Well, one
Both
has
have
all the
really
books
cool.
out and one doesn't, so that's an easy answer.
The Mistborn magic is super cool too. I really like that, and I like the atmosphere of Mistborn, the more like gothic vibe.
We
Um,
we do get some sorry, I'm just going through my pages. We do get some, like, interesting lines here. So, let me read some of this. "You are a work of art, Zeth, son, Nutero, a god." And it's in italics. And I question, was that his old name? And then also, why in italics? Is this something someone said to him? Is this someone else talking to him in his head? And then they say he's a god. It's a little G. They don't do big G there, but I know that matters in some books. Um, but yeah, like that felt very significant. You got a different name for him and they call him a god. I really want to know who this guy is. I need to know. He needs to be a little less edgy.
it's weird because I don't know. He's kinda edgy, but I don't, like, buy
He's
the
crying
edginess
as
too
he's killing
much.
people. That is
Like,
like the definition of edgy.
to use the terms that kids use. I feel like he's edgy, but he's not farming the aura. Like, he just I don't know.
Well, he's not an aura farmer.
You wanna talk about aura farming? Frieren. Oh my god, dude. The some of those parts are so good.
You gotta finish it, man. Talk to me
I
when
was
you
watching it
finish it.
yesterday. Anyways, we can talk about that right now. But, well, to wrap things up, I just wanted to say to everybody who's been
Wait,
active
hold
in the
on, hold on.
Discord.
I'm sorry to disrupt you, but we
Oh
have
my
we
goodness.
have questions on this.
Oh, okay, go for it.
We can finish. It'll be quick. Okay. Oh, wow, look at this. If we compare Zeth and Kaladin, we have two extraordinarily capable people, both trapped by their situation, both forced to do things they hate. Wow, this is a good question. But one submits while the other resists. Kaladin feels like a hero in our story, partly because he is resisting. Does Zeth feel like a villain? That is such a good question. That I love that question. What a great observation. Like truly awesome observation. I love this question. Um yeah, I actually agree with your thoughts. Like Kaladin I think feels like a hero. One because he's takes up most of this book. Like you and like we understand that he's a protagonist as
And we
readers.
see his leadership and all that.
Yes, but I think it is we root for him because he is resisting. Like, again, if it was going smooth for Kaladin and he was, "Oh, we're in the Shattered Plains and I get to fight the Light Eyes Wars and I'm training up my guys," like, we wouldn't he would be complicit in what's going on, almost like Seth is. Does Seth feel like a villain? A little bit. I don't think he feels like a villain, but I don't I don't like him because he doesn't like, he just accepts his situation, and I don't think I truly understand the nature of his situation. Like, it might be, like, if he disobeys, I don't know, the world blows up or something like that. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess,
'Cause right
like
now we're just told, "Oh, he has to do it."
yeah. So there might be, like, a reason where it actually might make me feel better about him not resisting, but as of right now, yeah, like, I feel like he is complicit in doing this stuff, and he's not trying to find a way to make the odds in his favor. So I think he does feel like a villain. Like, I could see
He's what you would call a lawful character. Like, he has to follow
yeah.
his law.
But yeah, and I think I could see him becoming a villain because I think he's gonna end up having like a very twisted mindset on things. Truly. So yeah, I think he does feel a little bit like a villain. He's like an unstoppable force that also like I don't know. It just bothers me that he doesn't have like he's not trying to figure out a way to not do these horrible things. But I guess I can't fully slap like, "Oh, this guy's an awful person" on him until I understand his situation, but right now, it's not looking good for him in my book. Um, how much hype does this one crazy assassin need? Not this much, man, not this much. Um, why does Zeph do this? I don't know. I feel like his hope is that he's hoping to come across someone who can finally stop him, but that feels so passive, such a passive way of
The thing
handling
that
things.
keeps coming to mind while we're talking about him is that one scene from The Batman where he goes, "Vengeance."
Yeah, yeah.
That's just,
Robert Pattinson wasn't crying when he beat those guys up, though.
oh, yeah.
Okay, and then 2 more questions, more of a general questions. Who do you think is more dangerous? Someone who believes they are right to do a horrible thing, Amaram, or someone who believes they have no choice but to do a horrible thing? Ooh, this is really good because we kind of talked about this earlier. Um, I would go. I would go someone who believes they are right to do a horrible thing because I think their mind is made up. Like you will, it'll be harder to convince them that that they shouldn't do it. They feel righteous in their actions. Whereas death, I feel
Isn't
like
there
if
a
you,
quote about that? That, like, villains don't see themselves as doing the wrong thing or
yeah,
something?
yeah, I know
Reminds me of
exactly what you're talking
Thanos.
about. Yeah. Whereas death, I feel like if you found a solution to him and presented it, he would take the way out. You know, he wouldn't be like, no, I must stay here. Like he'd be like, oh, thanks. Like I appreciate that. Whereas Amaram, if you tried to console him and be like, no, 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 like you don't need to do that, he'd be like, no, this is for the good of the realm. And it's like, well, that's it. You know, what do you think?
Um, I think the Amaram character is more, like, in the wrong, the one that thinks he's justified in doing wrong to accomplish what he believes is good.
Yeah. Okay. The final
There's kind of an
question.
innocence to Zeth
There
in a way.
is, at least from as much as we know. Like I said, his situation, the context of his situation could change how I feel about him. But I
I
agree.
think that once we understand the context of the Oath Zone, like, the true way, like, if it really is just like, "Oh, nothing would happen. It's just whoever has that rock, I just listen to what they tell me."
Yeah.
And,
If
like,
it really is just a cultural thing, I think I'd be like, yeah, you're a piece of trash.
yeah.
Okay. Last question. If power comes with a moral cost, which character in our story do you think has paid the highest price? Well, I think in that sense, Seth, because at one point he is going to have to deal with what he's done, whether he is 100% to blame for it or not, that he has destabilized countries and, in a way, the world.
Yeah, you better have a good explanation, huh?
That guy is going like Nuremberg trials for that guy. Like he's done some war crimes. Him and then hmm, maybe not thus far, but all the Light Eyes, even like Dalinar and them in the Shattered Plains, because I think that situation's gonna go so bad so fast at the end of this book, and they're gonna not yet. So I think I'm kind of cheating on your question there, but they are going to have a big price to pay with what they've done. Something there is gonna make them regret what they've been doing. I know it. But um, I hope we finish this book. I'm
We're getting
really
there.
enjoying this fight that we've gotten to. So I'm gonna read this next chapters, and we'll
Yeah,
see
well, at least we got to the interludes today, so we can get back to
the main
the story.
story. Yeah, I'm gonna read right
But,
now.
yeah, thanks to everybody who's been commenting, though, in the Discord and on YouTube. We do see it. I send it to Jacob whenever you guys comment, and, we really appreciate it. I know we've been extremely slow about reading this book, but
I'm telling you, I feel like if we get through this one, we'll get through the other ones. This is the test.
uh
It's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get up. You know what they say.
yeah. Alright then. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.